What is going on, guys? Welcome into the Daily Wolves Courtside Podcast. What a game we just watched. I'm here today, obviously, without Evan, without Andrew. Evan was at the game, and I think we're going to have Andrew hopping in a little bit later. But wow, what a massive statement win for the Wolves tonight. Down 17 early in the first quarter. Malik Beasley kind of ended up looking like prime Steph Curry there, and was definitely a little bit nervous there. We've had a bunch of games earlier throughout this year. You have an important player. In this case, tonight, Cade Cunningham out for the Wolves. I know it had a lot of us kind of on our toes, had some of us worried, but in the end, we got the job done. Definitely my personal favorite win this year. And yeah, I'm kind of just going to go through, give my takes throughout the game. And just to start, this felt like a playoff game. With just how the importance of these next 8 games for us are, every single win matters. You're in a race to possibly get the 4, possibly the 5 seed, right? You had the Clippers who lost tonight. We bump up ahead of them. We have the tiebreaker against the Warriors. So now us winning tonight, I believe, puts us in 6th place and gets us out of that play-in spot and puts us in the playoffs, which right now I don't know exactly who we would be facing. I believe it is the Rockets or the Nuggets, and I think that we favor both of those matchups right now if the playoffs were to start today. But jumping into tonight's game, Anthony Edwards had a very, very rough start to the game. 1 point in the first quarter, and I think he would look painfully uninterested on the defensive side of the ball. That's definitely been a knack that Ant's had in his career, just being uninterested, especially off-ball defense. And I think tonight was one of the worst that I saw in the first quarter. Malik Beasley, it kind of looked like he was getting in his head. He was talking to the crowd. He was talking to everybody, man. Like Malik Beasley was talking crazy. And I think that rattled Ant a little bit because usually that's Ant that's coming out talking crazy to everybody, talking to the fans. And it's just not something that you're accustomed to seeing, I feel like. And obviously, we had the huge brawl. That was crazy to see. It kind of reminded me of the game. I want to say it was 3 years ago against the Orlando Magic, and I'm just going to pull it up right now so we can watch it one more time from this cool fan angle, right actually courtside.
Boy, you not like boy, you look boy.
Is out.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. Obviously, it's not something you want to see from our perspective. Just like from the viewing standpoint, it's great to watch. It's great for clicks. It's fun. It's kind of cool to see it happen every now and then again. But when you're in a playoff race and you are as tight knitted and teams are as close together as they are, Dante's got to be smarter. Nas has got to be smarter. I know the officiating was piss poor tonight. The refs made it about them. I have this down right here. There was 32 first half fouls on both teams. 32 first half fouls. And I know there was a lot of fouls in the second half, and I didn't even get a chance to tally those up. So I understand that emotions are high. At the time, stuff wasn't going well. Malik was playing well, borderline playing like prime Steph Curry. It seemed like every time he shot the ball, I thought it was going to go in. But yeah, tempers have to be controlled. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Dante get a suspension. I don't know how it's going to look with Nas. I don't know how it's going to look with Pablo Prigioni. But the main person here I'm kind of looking at is Dante DiVincenzo. And this is where it is great to have, or to be as deep of a team as we are. You have Nikhil to bring off the bench. You have Jalen Clark now, who you can bring off the bench. You have Rob Dillingham as insurance. You have Joe Ingles as insurance that can handle the ball if you really need to break the glass. So obviously none of those players are going to fill the Dante DiVincenzo role. You're not going to be able to get the quick inbound, bring it up, start the offense fast. You're not going to be able to have that quick catch and shoot threat to the ability that Dante brings. So that's definitely going to be something to look for tomorrow and in the coming days, just kind of what the league decides to do with Dante, with Nas, obviously with the Pistons players, but we don't really care about that. Yeah, and in the first half, just to continue, things were looking rough. We missed 8 first half free throws. That was rough. Just little things, little minor things I feel like are what kill us every night. And obviously we came out tonight and got the dub, but when things were looking bad, this is one of those things that you could look back in the box score at and been like, you missed 8 first half free throws. That is not winning basketball. If you are in game 5s or game 6s, hell, we'll even extend it to a game 7. That's not going to win you games. And obviously we got it figured out. And yes, right here, exactly what you said. This is exactly what this team needed. This is a statement win. It kind of reminds me of the game last year in Los Angeles against the Clippers. Prime time on TNT, I remember we were down 20 in the first half, and then we came out just looking like a completely different team. Destroyed the Clippers, ended up winning by 20, and it was the same vibes tonight. And I remember after that game, we ended up getting hot. We were at the 1 seed at the time, and maybe this can be a late turning point for us. Who know? Like you said right here, vibes are immaculate. It seems like everybody is tied in. Everybody understands how important it is. Everybody has a taste of playoff success. They know what it takes to be there, and they know what it takes to be a winning basketball team. And I feel like everything's kind of everything is starting to be put together just at the right time. Something else tonight that really stood out to me was the play of Jalen Clark. I am a very, very, very big Jalen Clark guy. Obviously, this offseason we have to figure out what we're going to do with Nikhil. Are we going to pay Nikhil? Is Nikhil going to be signed somewhere else? Is he going to get shipped off in a trade? Who knows? Obviously, we don't want to lose a player like Nikhil. He has started to play fantastic. He's a 10 points per game scorer. I don't know what more you could ask from your 7th, 8th guy coming off the bench that's going to score 10 points. He's going to play team basketball, and I would say he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. Probably the best at getting around screens in the league as well. So, but yeah, to my point, say you do lose a Nikhil, you have Jalen Clark. And Jalen Clark has played, I want to say 20, 25 games now of legit NBA minutes where he is constantly in the rotation. And I hardly ever see Jalen Clark make mistakes. The only thing that stood out to me tonight was at the end of the third when he didn't take the 3 and passed it up to, I think it was Julius, who ended up taking it in. There was a jump ball and whatever else happened. But Jalen Clark just continues to impress me every single night. And if there is a way, I feel like I would almost like to see Finch try to get Jalen Clark out on the floor more in certain situations, kind of like in the first quarter when it seemed like Malik Beasley was just not going to miss for the rest of the game. If you want to throw a Jalen Clark out there, he's your 9th, 10th guy. He can go pick up a couple fouls if that's really what need be, just to kind of set the tone and be like, hey, you're not going to get these easy buckets. And even if, like, he's an elite defender, so he doesn't necessarily have to pick up those fouls. But yeah, my brain's kind of just going a million miles an hour. But I would just love to see Finch somehow get Jalen Clark in the rotation a little bit more, just depending on situations. Obviously, I know the offense isn't necessarily where it needs to be, but I feel like just with how Ant's been playing recently, how Julius has been playing recently, the rise of Jaden, Dante, and Nikhil, these guys are all having such great offensive seasons that I don't feel like you need Jalen Clark to do much on the offensive side of the ball. He can come out and just play defense, kind of like who was it last, like Kyle Anderson. I feel like in a few series there were times that he would just have to come out. He was solely a defender or solely a playmaker. You know, that could be the Jalen Clark role. Like Jalen Clark, my apologies guys, camera died, but Jalen Clark could very well be that Kyle Anderson role from last year. Moving on throughout the game, Rudy Gobert, absolutely fantastic game. 19 points, 25 rebounds, I believe. 25 rebounds for Rudy. I think this is the best game that we saw from Rudy this year, and I feel like that is super, super refreshing to see. I feel like Rue's kind of had an up and down month, or just even coming back from the injury. He's had super high highs, but he's also had super low lows. So it was great to see Rudy come out and have a good game. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, but whenever we find a way to get Rudy Gobert paint touches and get him the ball and make him happy offensively, obviously just kind of hoping that he doesn't fumble the ball and whatnot, we win basketball games when Rudy touches the ball offensively. I don't know if that's ever been said or brought up in film, or if this is just something that like maybe a few people are noticing. But when Rudy touches the ball, we win basketball games. Continuing out, Julius Randle, another solid game. I feel like Julius has just continued to impress Wolves fans throughout the year. 26 points for Julius tonight, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Kind of a shaky first half of the game, but in the end, he ended up turning it up, played great, shot 50% from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 7 for 7 from the line. Not many careless turnovers from Julius tonight. He played great defensively. He had a big block. I remember, I think the third quarter. And yeah, moving on to the second half, obviously something that I feel like needs to be addressed is Anthony Edwards picked up another technical foul. With that being said, if Ant gets one more tech this year, that is another suspension. I don't know if that is applicable to playoffs. So if anybody does know that, feel free to drop a comment and educate me here. But I know if he does get one more tech in the regular season, that is an instant 1-game suspension. And when you are in a race as deep in as you are and as contested as you are with 5, 6 teams, you need to have your emotions under check. You're a top 10 player in the league. The league is pushing you to be the face of the NBA. You can't pick up more techs. I've harped on it time in, time out that Ant needs to get his emotions under control, and I'll give it to him. He's done a great job since he got suspended. He definitely made it a lot longer than I anticipated without getting a tech, just because we know that Ant is a hothead. He gets fired up. That's how you get Ant into games, when he's riled up. But I just love to see him somehow kind of get that energy out some other way instead of just bitching and moaning at the officials. But anyways, just on the topic of Ant ended up catching fire in the third quarter, and I feel like that's really what pushed us over the edge. He only had 5 points in the first half, and we were still hanging with the Pistons, and an Anthony Edwards eruption is what pushed us over the edge, kind of got everybody going. And a big actually takeaway from my game, or from this game, was the third quarter really showed me when Anthony Edwards is locked in on both sides of the ball, it feeds through everybody on the team. Everybody wants to play well. Everybody wants to play hard. I know whenever, we'll just say you're at work, you see your boss busting his ass, and that makes you want to go do the same thing. You see your leader, you see somebody you look up to playing hard, playing well. That gets you hyped up, and that makes everybody else want to lock in and just play just as well as your star players. So we need Anthony Edwards to be locked in for the remainder of this regular season, because we know what kind of playoff player Ant is. He is one of, I would say, a top 3 playoff riser in this league. He takes his game to another level. He scores more. He passes, he play makes well, I should say. Teammates seem to hit shots more. He's more aggressive on the glass, and he is locked in when he is guarding the ball in the playoffs. And I would love to see this year, I would love to see it translate into the off ball too. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, I think another thing that really ended up turning the tables for us this game was in the third quarter, we found a way to stop the Pistons sets, to get Malik Beasley and they found a way to stop getting him those off-ball looks. Those were just killing us the whole first half. And I think that was definitely the biggest point. And at halftime, Finch went in and just nailed them. Hey, you guys have to do something about this. If Malik Beasley is not playing this well, I would say that the Wolves would have been up the whole first half. So once that got figured out, it was very clear that it was a completely different team, and that everything just changed. Momentum changed. You saw it in Target Center. You heard it on the TV. You saw the players. You felt the energy. Everything changed. Moving on into the fourth quarter, Mike Conley has just continued to blow me away this whole month. Pause. But yeah, I was very, very concerned about Mike's defense kind of earlier in or late into February, even early first week of March. It kind of just looked like teams were singling out Mike. It looked like Mike lost a step, and Mike just came out and proved everybody wrong. I was kind of on the train of, does Mike Conley deserve minutes? And I get reminded every single night why it is so important to have your veteran leader on the floor. Dante made a point on the 3&D pod, or 3-man whatever podcast, that Mike's the leader. Whatever lineup is on the floor, as long as Mike Conley is out there, that this team just looks better. They look more connected. Mike slows everything down and he makes the game easy for everybody. And we saw that tonight in the fourth quarter. Mike got shots for himself. Nikhil got a bunch of shots and a bunch of looks, and we saw it throughout the game. And we've seen it throughout this whole month. Mike Conley has just played fantastic. And when you can get your 37-year-old point guard to be putting up 10 points a game, that is something that can't really be replicated by many teams in the playoffs. You have Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, who are going to go out and get you 20 every night. You have Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, and Jaden McDaniels, who are microwave scorers who can go out and get you 20. I wouldn't say Jaden can get you 30, but Dante can go out and get you 30. Naz can go out and get you 30. Now you add in Mike Conley, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. In the playoffs, that's going to be tough. And I know rotations get shorted, but if you need to, you can run 9 deep in the playoffs and be comfortable. And I feel like that is something that we're going to have to think about, because last year in the Mavericks series, Anthony Edwards hit on it time in and time out. Hey, we were only conditioned for 82 games. We were not conditioned for over 100 games. And I think we only ended up playing 8, sometimes 7-man rotations, and having these fresh, young legs and being able to rest Mike possibly even one more game this season so we can be ready for the playoffs, I feel like would be huge. Yeah, so one more takeaway I had for tonight. I guess I already went over that. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I'm not really accustomed to running these solo, so I think that I am going to wrap it up. Unless you guys have any questions for me, for Andrew, for Evan, we can shoot them on over in DM. We can cover them in the next episode that we're going to do. But for that being, I think we're going to wrap this episode up for tonight. For those of you still listening, we are partnered with Better, the best sports betting app out there. That is BETR. Go sign up with the promo code TheDailySPN to get a free $200 in bets. That's the code TheDailySPN. We are also partnered with SeatGeek, the best ticket app. If you want to go to concerts, you want to go see the Wolves, go see the Vikings, go see the Wild, go see the Twins now that baseball season's back in. Use the code TheDailyWolves, all one word, and we're going to give you $20 off your first order. Appreciate having you guys on. I think we are going to be going live, or are we going? Yes, or I don't. Maybe we will be going live this Tuesday against the Nuggets. Really, 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 really big game. So we're going to be excited to see you guys then. Continue this playoff push and hopefully wrap up that 4 or 5 seed. We'll catch you next time, guys. Go Wolves.